Yesterday was a Chodesh Av, Mishenechnas Av, Mematim B'Simcha. And this coming Shabbos we read the painful Haftorah, Chazoin Yeshayahu ben Amois Shechozo al Yerushalayim. These are days of mourning, days of profound sadness. But we're not Yotze Yadei Chayva just by mourning. Action is demanded. We need to do more than mourn. We need to rectify. We need to do tshuva. We need to be better. And in the same way, we are in the midst of a terrible pandemic. Numbers are rising in Eretz Yisrael. A few weeks ago, we were so calm. And we felt the pain of our brethren in New York and in London. Tables have reversed. They have quiet. And we are very concerned. Day to day, there are thousands of new cases. We have more deaths than we had a month ago. More very ill patients. More patients on ventilators. And we're concerned. For the past 4 months, I've been darshaning and demanding and pleading and begging to follow the rules, and I do it once again. You must wear masks. You must keep social distancing. You must be makbid in hygiene. You must. It's pikuach nefesh. And if you have symptoms, you must test. I know that many people didn't go test because they felt it's too much of a sacrifice to sit 2 weeks in quarantine and then wait till you have 2 different tests and you come out negative twice. So Baruch Hashem, the system was streamlined. You do no longer need to be in isolation till you test negative. So the new rules, the new regulations are after 10 days, since you fell ill. And after 3 days that you feel fine, you can leave your home. You don't need to test negative. So there's no teretz and no reason not to test. And you need to test because it is only if you test that you really will keep away from others, you and your family. It is only if you test that Misrad B'Riyut, the authorities, could notify others that need to be in bidud. So it's a lifesaver. But once again, in the time of a Megeifa, it's not enough to wear masks and do all the other things. We believe in a Kodesh Baruch Hu, we believe in Hashgacha Protis. Kodesh Baruch Hu is crying out to us. And what he is saying is, Kindalach, you need to be better. There's a reason for all this pain. You need to be better. So in what areas do we need to be better? The earliest source of Dalet Soimis, the 4 fast days associated with Churban Habayis and Golas Yisrael, Tzom HaRevi'i v'Tzom HaChamishi Tzom HaShvi v'Tzom HaAsiri Yiu leBeis Yehuda leSosoin uleSimcha uleMoyadim Tovim v'Emes v'Sholom Ahevu. What's the kesher between the Reisha and the Seifa? The beginning of the Pasuk has so many different interpretations. It's an expression of hope. It's a bracha, a blessing. It's a prophecy, it's a nevuah, it's a promise. These tragic days will ultimately be transformed to days of simcha. You will ask, when will it be? And the Navi says, I can't say when, but I could say how. You are the ones to determine when. Emes v'Sholom Ahevu. You need to understand what brought about the Churban to know how to bring about the Geula. So, Churban Habayis, Bayis Rishon and Bayis Sheni, twice in Shas, Nedorim Pei Aleph, B'Metzia Pei Hei, Alos v'ames terosi, Shrei Baruch Hu b'toiret achilo. And thereon, Nedorim Pei Aleph, quotes Rabbeinu Yoina, Lo yehoisu ha'torah chashuva b'eineihem v'lo oska b'lishma. What brought about the destruction of Bayis Sheni? Sinas Chinam. That is what we learn Yom Edav Tes and Bavli Yom Edav Dalet in Yerushalmi. So it is only when we fix these two terrible crimes, Averis, Avoinos, that we will be Zeiche to the Bayis Ashlishi. That's our challenge, and that's the call of the times. More Torah, more Avos Torah, more Kviyas Itim LeTorah. And I turn especially to young B'nai Torah. Thousands, tens of thousands of young Bochum are without a Mesgeres, without yeshivas. In Eretz Yisrael and in America. All those young yeshiva boys waiting to come back to yeshivas in Eretz Yisrael. This is tragic. Tragic. Closing shuls is sad. But it's not a tragedy, because you close the shuls, people still daven with minyanim. In Eretz Yisrael there are hundreds, thousands of minyanim in Chatzeres, an open space. And Corona will not be with us forever. Sooner or later, it's the nature of epidemics. It will subside. Either when we find a vaccination, or, worst case scenario, terrible scenario, sometimes epidemics eat and eat till they're satisfied, and then they just die. Epidemics subside, and when Corona will be over, we'll open the shuls, we'll go back to normal. We just don't know what terrible the price will be till we get there. So yes, once again, we need to follow all the rules and be careful for our sake, for the sake of the elders amongst us. But closing yeshivas is a tragedy, because those young boys are not learning enough Torah. So I turn to each and every one of you, young B'nai Torah. Imru isu dor shenes yashu men ha-Torah moid v'hachzik bo v'atonoitel sachar kulam. Every crisis is an opportunity. So if you learn Bahasmoda, if you learn Yom and Valaylo, it's a far greater schus than in normal times. So take advantage of this epidemic. Take advantage of the difficulty. That's a promise of Chazal. So number one is more Torah, more Kviyas Itim, more Avas Torah, more Hachazakas Torah. It's a very difficult period for the yeshivas, when we are all in financial stress. So those of you that have the means to support Torah, make an effort to do so. That's one area of chizuk. And the other is more ahavas reim. I have a terrible feeling the first wave of Corona brought out the best of us. There was a feeling of kol yisrael areivim zeh lezeh. There was a feeling of achva, of ahava. Almost everybody followed the rules. We understood that pikuach nefesh is the biggest mitzvah. The second wave is bringing out not the best of us, but the worst of us. And there are more machloikis and more strife and more sinas chinam. And it's awful, because sinas chinam destroyed the Beis Hamikdash. Our challenge today is ahavas chinam. It is the only way we could bring binyan Beis Hamikdash. Sinas chinam v'loi nagu kavod zeh b'zeh brought about a plague in the days of Rebbe Kiva v'Talmidov. Kulam meisu ben Pesach la'atzeres, 24,000 Talmidei Chachomim sheloi nagu kavod zeh b'zeh. And now everybody is fighting with everyone. Some follow the rules and others don't. And these huge demonstrations and so much chinas chinam. It's tragic. It's tragic. It's always tragic. Especially in the 9 days. Especially especially in the days of Churban Beis Hamikdash. So these are the two most important things we need to deal with. Ahavas Torah and Ahavas Yisrael. More Torah and more Ahavas Re'im. More Ahavas Chinam, more Kavod Chaverim. So the Navi promises, you will ask when. You know when? Emes v'ashalom ahevo. Emes is Torah. Only Torah is Torah's emes. Chaysama shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu emes, and that chotam, that seal is Torah. Vo emes ahevo, v'hashalom ahevo. And you will rectify the two terrible sins that brought the Churban of Beis Hamikdash, b'Roshono or b'Shneya. It is then and only then that we will be Zaycha to Divrei HaNavi. Tzayim HaRavi v'tzayim HaChamishi, tzayim HaShvi v'tzayim HaAsiri, Yihu leBeis Yehuda l'sosoin l'simcha u'lemoyadim toivim v'emes v'asholem ahevo with Bias Goel Tzedek b'Meheru v'yomeinu Amen.